What a win for the Warriors here in San Antonio. Didn't post the Hornets game. As we know, I'm very hesitant to do games against really bad teams just because, especially at this point, what do we need to know about a game against the Hornets, right? No LaMelo, no Mark Williams. Like, who really cares? It's Trey Mann and Vasily Micic and, Miles Bridges. Brandon Miller got hurt too, so it was like he missed that part. It wasn't really worth posting, but the Warriors did win, so still a good thing. They won handedly as well. It wasn't like a, barely skated by really bad game. Like, they still won the game by a good margin, so love to see that. But here we are in this game against the San Antonio Spurs. Victor Wembanyama playing for the Warriors. No Jonathan Kuminga. For the Spurs, no Keldon Johnson, no Jeremy Sohan, and no Devin Vassell. So, had to miss those guys, but again, the Warriors struggle so much inside. Victor Wembanyama by himself is already going to cause a lot of problems for the Warriors, and that was the case, especially without Jonathan Kuminga, who, aside from Andrew Wiggins, is really the only legit downhill threat on this roster. And Andrew Wiggins, for some reason against Victor Wembanyama, just really doesn't know what to do. Which is no shocker. I mean, if you remember that scrimmage game before the season started, I think he got blocked like 4 times in like the span of 3 minutes or something by Wembanyama. He did it again. He absolutely owned Wiggins. Just for a clarification, Andrew Wiggins for the night had 4 points, 2 of 12 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, had a turnover. Was all right on the glass, 5 boards, played some okay defense, but he only played 21 minutes. He didn't have a good night. Wembanyama was just causing him a lot of problems. So this was just such a huge game when it comes to tertiary scoring. Again, Jonathan Kuminga, as much criticism as I've levied towards him, because again, he's been thrust into a role that's going to require this kind of criticism. The Warriors had that tertiary scoring. Surprisingly, was not expecting that because that's kind of been an issue. They just have never really had in this season. It feels like they've never had enough scoring. It's like they're always just coming up short, But tonight, Andrew Wiggins doesn't have a game. Kuminga's not playing. Clay has a rough shooting night. 5 of 13 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3. Some of the guys that you consistently rely on to get you 10 to 15, maybe 20 plus points a night aren't playing that well or, up to where they should be. So you need other guys to step up, and that's where the Warriors won this thing tonight. Draymond Green, 21 points, and we'll get into his entire game because he was by a mile, not even close to player of the game. Brandon Pajemski gave you 12 points, and then Chris Paul gave you 9 pretty huge buckets, or huge points. Just genuinely, this stretch of ball for Chris Paul has been incredible. He's played so well. Just, I've talked about a little bit when he was coming back from the injury, how I was a little hesitant because this is when the Warriors were playing really well. This was, I think, right before the All-Star break when we knew, okay, post-All-Star break, Chris Paul's going to be back. I was a little concerned with his pace because the Warriors started to play really well because they were getting stops, getting out in transition, and playing really fast basketball, which is typically where the Warriors excel. And so Chris Paul, as we know, even though he can push the pace, his best basketball is played in half-court sets. He slows the game down, and he kind of picks defenses apart. So I was a little worried about that, but I got to say Chris Paul has been absolutely fantastic in a Warriors uniform. He's just been so good, especially in this stretch. Really crucial. And again, at a game like this, 9 points may not seem like a lot, especially for someone like Chris Paul, but 9 points when you're missing 3 big time scorers, it's huge. It's huge. And then again, coupled with Draymond's 21 and Pajemski giving you 12, and Moses Moody giving you 10 points. He made a couple threes. He had himself a solid game. Like, the tertiary scoring for the Warriors, in my opinion, is what won it. Because the defense was spectacular in the second half. It was terrible in the first half, and we'll get into that. But that's more of a Draymond thing, and he's going to have his own little segment here. So, first half of this game for the Warriors was just genuinely atrocious in every possible way. Wembanyama from the get-go was just destroying this team. I mean, the Warriors couldn't get stops in the paint. They couldn't score in the paint. It just looked like, it looked like you were playing against your big brother. Now, I'm an only child, but I've seen it happen. It's just a big brother thing where you just swat the ball because they can't do anything, and they're just trying to shoot it, and they keep missing and missing and missing because they can't even see the hoop. It was just kind of pathetic, embarrassingly pathetic. And again, the Warriors could not get any sort of stops. The closeouts were weak. The Spurs were hitting shots. It looked ugly. And the Spurs, I think, put up a 34-point first quarter there, and cooked the Warriors, who in the entire first half had, I think, 10 turnovers. It was really bad. A lot of stupid passes. It wasn't a lot of forced turnovers. I mean, the Warriors were not getting many good possessions there, but in general, they were just making a lot of stupid passes. And then on top of it, ironically, every time Victor Wembanyama went to the bench, the second unit for the Spurs played better cumulatively. Like, they just had a better time against the Warriors, and I think it's because they were able to play a little bit quicker. And the Warriors struggled really poorly, or really badly in the first half with their transition defense and defense in general. So those bench Spurs were just taking advantage of it and running downhill. Chetty Osman in particular had himself a fantastic game. 18 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. He was really big. Just a good performance in the first half from the Spurs. Warriors at one point in that first half did make a little bit of a push, got out ahead, but then the Spurs immediately came back and then took over that second quarter and went into halftime with, I think, a 9-point lead, if I'm not mistaken, 7 or 9-point lead. So it was a bit rough going into the second half, but this is where things just took off, and it all is with Draymond Green. Draymond is the player of the game. Okay, final line for Draymond. 21 points, 6 boards, 11 assists, 6 steals, a block, 8 of 9 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 3 of 4 from the line, including a clutch, essentially game-sealing free throw, plus 13 to lead the entire team. Draymond Green was absolutely insane tonight. And the last video I posted was that game against the Magic. And Draymond had a horrendous moment in that game against the Magic. And as I've talked about plenty of times, I talk about in the comments when you guys mention it, I react to new information. So, last game, Draymond, or the last time I uploaded, Draymond, really stupid, super selfish decision from him, and he paid dearly, but the Warriors won. Really fucking stupid decision from him. But today, Draymond was incredible. And you gotta praise it, As much as there is, again, like Kuminga, nowhere near in the same vein, but, there's criticism to be levied towards Draymond. But this is one of those moments where it's like, you see the genius in this dude and how good he is and why someone like Steph and Steve Kerr and Clay and Myers for so long, and now Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob just put up with the bullshit with Draymond, because this is the kind of stuff he does. The offensive output, maybe not, but the rest of it, this is just prototypical Draymond Green. He absolutely controlled the second half. Like, straight up took over, and that was it. Even when the Spurs made that fourth quarter push and, really came back in, then Gary Payton II had a really dumb technical where he threw the ball against the stanchion, which I think is stupid because I'm pretty sure Gary does that like every single game, and never gets called for it. So that was really dumb to see that happen there, but it is what it is. Draymond was just everywhere, man. In that third quarter, he had 9 points alone, including a 3 in the corner that put the Warriors up ahead, I think 11. And defensively, just absolutely shut them down. Held them 21 points in that third quarter while also leading a 37-point third quarter for the Warriors. Helped get Steph unlocked. Steph ended up having himself a great game. He finished with 33 points. But Draymond was just at the head of all of it. He was pushing the pace. He was getting strip steals on Victor Wembanyama. He was blocking shots. He was really getting on the glass, really taking advantage of box outs, and just absolutely piecing that Spurs defense. It was great to see. It was great to see because I think Draymond needed this. I think the Warriors needed this. Again, like I just said, he makes some really stupid decisions out there, but you see a game like this and you're just reminded of how fucking good he is and how much he does for this team when he's really going, you know? And so a game like this, yeah, I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see it. I hope it kind of helps him realign, you know, and get a little bit more calm, shall we say. But yeah, Draymond Green was absolutely incredible. 31 and a half minutes, just dominated that second half and took over the game and pretty much won it for the Warriors. So huge game for him there. But the defense in general in that second half was just so much better. They were playing Victor a lot better. Vic was hitting some three. Look, this dude is just insane. Okay, how many times do we have to talk about Wemby on this channel? He finished the game with 32 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 10 of 22 from the field, 9 of 10 from the line. He made 3 threes. Like, the guy's just nuts. I mean, you know, he had that 40-20 game the other night. Like, when are we going to talk about the fact that he like at 20 years old, he's probably a top 5 player? Like, are we going to really argue that at this point? Like, he's consistently giving you 25 plus, gets you like 10 rebounds a game, 5 assists, and then leads the league in blocks. What the fuck are we doing? And he could shoot threes, handle like Kate. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. It's unguardable. I mean, he was just cooking Trace. He got a little bit of revenge on TrayceJackson-Davis, but it is what it is. I think Trace still had the better poster, but then again, I'm biased, so that's beside the point. The defense in general in that second half was just so much better. And again, they were causing Victor a little bit of problems. He did get going in that fourth quarter a little bit, but overall, I think the Warriors just played him very well, forced him into some tough shots. Draymond had a couple big stops on him, but late in that fourth quarter, good defense didn't matter. The Spurs were just hitting some tough threes. I mean, Cedi Osman had like 3 guys closing out on him and hit a corner 3 to put the Spurs within 4. Like, it was just one of those, you know, all right, they're going on a run. Warriors, you guys got to score now. And the chef showed up for that. Like I said, Steph then in that second half was just incredible offensively. A lot of that because Draymond helped get him going, but 33 points for Steph, 12 of 23 from the field, 7 of 15 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line, 1 board, 8 assists. Did have 4 turnovers. A lot of those were in the first half, though. Steph was just nuts, you know. Steph doing what Steph typically does, so that was big time there. This whole game was fantastic, and again, I said it in that last video. It was one of my, you know, little card caption things. Next man up mentality, you know, strength in numbers, getting back into that. They had that tonight, and they desperately needed it, and that's something the Warriors need to continue going forward, is it's like, you know, hey, if someone doesn't have it, others have to step up. It can't be, okay, Podziemski, you haven't really been asked to score, so don't really try to score. It's like, dude, if you got an open look, you need to fucking take it. If you miss it, you miss it, but you need to start getting aggressive. And if you have a matchup that you like, take advantage. Don't just sit there and wait for Steph to bail you out. Like, go take it, go do something about it, you know? I'm fine with misses as long as you're taking the shots that are open to you, you know? It's the same with Moody. I think Moody's a little bit passive at times, but he still shows up and gives you scoring every once in a while and plays very hard and physical basketball. So it's like, just stay aggressive. Stay aggressive and go. Andrew Wiggins, 2 of 12 from the field. You didn't hear me ripping him apart, and it's because I love the aggressiveness. You know, he was getting crushed by Wembanyama, and yet he was still going in there and trying to get more looks and trying to score and trying to do as much as he could to help the team, and that's all I want to see. You know, I'd be more pissed if Andrew had 5 points but was like 1 of 3 from the field. You know, I'm fine with 2 of 12 because that shows that he was at least trying, and I just want to see Wiggins try. Clay, 5 of 13. You know, a lot of people are going to be like, Clay's back to taking Clay shots. It's like, yeah, he was aggressive. The Warriors needed the extra scoring. You know, I liked it. Some of them were rough transition threes, but I'd rather him do that than just like sit there and get too passive, you know. Sure, you could find a better look, but then again, you're playing Wembanyama, so, you know, why not take the shot that's open, right? But anyways, I love this game from the Warriors. This was a big one. I know it's the Spurs, and I know what I've said about, you know, things against the bad teams, but the Spurs are a really rough matchup for the Warriors. They're bigger. They play physical. It's a Popovich-led team. It's the same thing like the Kings. Mike Brown just knows the Warriors inside out. Obviously, he was on the coaching staff. Steve Kerr comes from the Popovich coaching tree. It's just a tough matchup. And then Wembanyama is the ultimate game changer against this Warriors team that just struggles in the paint in general. So I wanted to talk about this one, also give a little bit onto that Hornets game. But the Warriors have now hit 40 wins. This is pretty huge. They're on a 4-game win streak. Shocker, on the road. Every year now it feels like they're either dominant on the road and bad at home, or bad on the road and dominant at home. For one reason or another, they can't just seem to find some cohesion in both buildings. But as you guys know, as I've said many times, Chase Center fucking blows. I'm not a fan of it. The fans are not that great. So, the environment doesn't hold true like Oracle once did. So, but again, as I also say when I bring this up, the A's, the city of Oakland, I prefer to San Francisco. But that's, kind of a side note. Anyways, yeah, that's going to do it here. Warriors fans, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Podcast stuff, I know I haven't uploaded it, but I'm going to do that tomorrow, so you're going to see some podcast stuff with Dominic. The link to the playlist will be in the description, so if you want to go check out the other podcast clips, they'll be there, as well as Dominic's channel in the description. That'll be there, so go check him out. And yeah, man, if you like the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the game against the Mavericks, or after the game against the Mavericks in a couple days. Peace. And happy Easter, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Happy Easter to everybody. Now, peace.